Good morning, it's Sally here from Heaven of Devon. I thought I'd give you a little update on the planning enforcement issue. So for those of you who don't know us, we bought a 5-acre plot of land in South Devon about 4 years ago now. So on that land it's got an L-shaped stable block, a hay barn and a workshop / garage. So for the last few years we've just really been trying to repair all the buildings, repair the land. So when we bought it, all the land was dilapidated, loads of brambles, overgrowth, bit of a state. The buildings were falling down, to be honest with you. It has main electricity and mains water, which was a bonus. So we've just really been trying to repair the land, make it all tidy, and save the buildings. So since we bought the land, we had people move in next door. So when we originally purchased it, we purchased the land at auction, and the house next door was auctioned off at the same time. So somebody else bought the house and we bought the land. Long story short, the person who bought the house did it up for the 2 years and then sold it for a good profit. The new people that moved in, prior to them moving into the property, we showed them around the land. Sorry, just wait for that car to go past. I'm at home today, so it's just sat outside in my courtyard. So the new people that moved into the land, into the house, beg your pardon, I think it was early last year. Prior to them moving in, we showed them around the land, showed them what we was doing, you know, said we are still repairing the buildings, so there was going to be a certain element of noise, although we'll obviously try to keep it minimum in the evenings. You know, just generally told them what the long-term plans were: campsite, pop-up vintage shop, agricultural yard sales, etc, etc. So they must have been quite happy with what we were doing, purchased the property. But unfortunately, since they purchased the property, they've done nothing but complain, shall we say. So late last year, or about September, October last year actually, we're now in July, we had a letter from the planning enforcement team to say that we were storing vehicles on the property and that we couldn't do that. So this has been going on for months and months and months, and then about May time we had a further letter from them to say also there was querying some hard standing on the property as well. So like I said, long story short, in June I agreed to a site visit. So the local planning enforcement officer met me on site. It was just me. Don wasn't there because Don wouldn't have been so polite, shall we say. So I showed him around the property, showed him the vehicles. There was 2 vehicles in question, 2 vans and 1 car. So we've got an old Rolls-Royce, parts on the land as well. So showed him all the hard standing, what we were using the hard standing for, where we'd only just replenished it, and one area where we had actually created a new hard standing. Excuse me. So the property runs alongside a bridle path, so we opened up a new gateway. Well, it was an existing gateway that had been there donkey's years before, so we just reinstated it. Didn't need permission from highways because it was on an unclassified road, and just put some hard standing down where we put the gateway in. So that was the only really new piece of hard standing we had done. The rest of the hard standing was already there, we just replenished it. So showed him that, showed him the vehicle. So we've got 1 van that we use for storing tools and equipment in there while we're repairing the buildings, because the buildings aren't secure and we've already had theft at the property. And then the other vehicle was a minibus, which we stripped the seats out, when we had generally been using it as a day bus, so just somewhere in the dry to go and make a cup of tea and have a sit. So I showed him those 2, explained that the minibus was actually currently up for sale because we weren't really using it as a day bus as much anymore, because the buildings we'd managed to repair and made a little area within there to use as like a kitchen area to make cups of tea, etc, a bit of a welfare place. So he seemed happy enough. That was in mid-June. He said to me he'd get back to me the very same day. Didn't. So a month later I finally got a letter from the local council. So the letter stated, basically, it was a bit conflicting. So on one part the letter said that the areas of hard standing normally doesn't need planning permission, which I know that because it comes under permitted development rights for an agricultural unit. He doesn't classify our unit as agricultural. So he states, I'm just going to read it: in this instance is not considered an agricultural unit exists to the benefit the permitted development rights, which I don't quite understand why it doesn't. It's an agricultural unit. I've been told it's agricultural just because we're not grazing animals on there or, you know, letting the grass grow for hay. It's still an agricultural unit, so I was a little bit confused by that, but I'm not going to argue it. And it says, however, as the areas of the hard standing are fairly small and would be allowed to grass over, it's not something that the council wish to take any further action over. Fantastic. I already knew the hard standing was fine. The storage of vehicles. So this is where it gets a bit confusing. So now he goes on to state that the storage of vehicles, there were 2 vans parked in the land along with 1 car. It was noted that 1 van was being used to store equipment on the land and the other to be used as a restroom welfare unit. As these are ancillary to the use of agricultural, they would not require planning permission. So on one hand he's saying that the vans are being used for agricultural purposes, so they don't require planning permission. On the other hand, he said the hard standing, while it is permitted under permitted development for an agricultural unit, you're not an agricultural unit. But anyway, he's saying the vans are fine, so I'm not going to argue. He did say that the car, the Rolls Royce, does need to be moved, but I already told him when he came round the plan was to sell that anyway. So it's basically saying that the car is currently stored on the land, and I can confirm that does result in an unauthorised storage use. However, I note that you're looking to sell the car. If this is the case, then it would resolve the planning breach. But it doesn't really say anywhere on the letter that the case is closed. It doesn't really confirm what's happening going forward. Is my case still open until I sell the car? But as far as I'm concerned, he said in his letter the hard standing is fine, the 2 vans are fine, it's just the car that's got to go. So I'll take that as a win, and at some point I will put the car up for sale. It's just a little bit frustrating that it's not very clear, and he is a bit contradictory to say on one hand it's not an agricultural unit, but on the other hand it is an agricultural unit. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because in effect, the case has been closed, the hard standing's fine, the 2 vans can stay there, and the car's got to go at some point. So yeah, so there you go. So it's now end of July, so the site visit was mid-June. The original letter we received from the council was September. This has been going on since September last year, so October, November, December, January, February, March. So 10 months. Had a site visit, like I said, mid-June. It's now the end of July and I've only just received the letter. So it's been hanging over our heads for a while, even though I know that we've not done anything detrimental to planning. But at least it's been resolved now. So today I'm just at home. I'm just having a little tea break. Thought I'd show you the update and have a little look around at the courtyard. Patio area. So some little interesting bits, nice little statues, and this is an amazing plaque. Oh, I'll show you. Managed to pick up Knights of Templar. So I hope you've enjoyed the little update on the planning enforcement issue. Another day I'll have you have a walk around the land, show you the progress of what we've been doing, and show you some more bits that we've been up to. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea now. See you next time.